Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Friends Podcast, man. Thank you so much for joining us. If it's your first time, thank you for coming through. We appreciate all the listeners, new and old, man. So,
Yes, sir.
my name is Matt, and I'm here with my co-host.
Jermaine is out right now, but she'll be back in the next episodes. My name is Rod. This is the Friends Podcast. Make sure you check us out. We're streaming everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our socials at the Friends Pod. It's on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and the Instagram. So make sure you check that out and be on the lookout for new merch.
Yeah, so what's going on with you this week? Anything new going on in life?
I guess I've been working on trying to get out a little bit more. It's been getting super hot, so that makes me want to. I haven't went outside to play basketball or kickball, softball, whatever. Just being outside doing something. Um, so that's what I'm trying to work on right now. I'm trying to get outside instead of just going to the gym and get some of that vitamin D.
No, that's
Pause.
important. That's important, though. Like getting sun, like that's so important, especially. But I feel like, is it always sunny there? I feel like it's probably even like during the winter months, it might already
They say the sun
be
adds
sunny.
to your happiness and your mood.
It does. It does. That's why you need the vitamin D or whatever. Like a lot, I feel like I've heard a lot of black people have vitamin D deficiency. So like, there's pills for that you can take. So go to the doctor, y'all. If y'all ain't been to the doctor in a minute, go to the doctor, see if you got deficiencies and get that
Yeah,
shit
take
back
your
on track.
vitamins every day like I do.
Yep, that too. But make sure you take. That's what I'm saying. Go to the doctors and make sure you're taking the right ones because you don't want to take iron when you already have too much iron. You know what I mean? So hit your physicians up. You know your PPEs or whatever they call them. Um,
Yeah. So how's your week been?
I mean, shit, man. Ain't nothing really going on with me. Just chilling. Just going through this third season in NBA 2K. So I'm just trying to finish out this third. I'm almost to the playoffs. We 50. No, 59-11 right now. So I'm just trying to get. I was trying to be 72-10 like Jordan, but who just beat me? I think the Blazers. They just smacked me like ridiculously.
I know
Cause the
what I used to
Blazers.
do back in
Uh
the
huh.
day. Like if I didn't want to lose and I knew I was about to lose, I just turn off the game.
I used to do that. I did that in my first season, but I was like, nah, I can't do that no more. Cause the thing is, it'll when you turn the game back on, it'll start back at the same place anyway. So they figured that shit out. But
Back in the day, that was a cheat code for sure.
no, for real, like nigga.
Especially in the boxing game I used to play.
Yeah.
I used to try to have the undefeated record. No, it wasn't boxing. It was UFC. I used to
Oh,
play that
UFC.
game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shit used to piss me off. Like sometimes you just go up and like try to fight somebody, they'll knock you out in like one hit. You'd be like, "What the fuck is going on?" I'm turning this shit immediately off.
That don't seem right. One hit. That don't even
Yeah,
seem
it's just
right.
like my strength, like I was just weak as fuck. Like I'd be blocking, blocking, blocking. Like they get one good hit, my dude's just laying on the floor.
Goddamn.
Man, that shit was some bullshit.
This Blazers team is ridiculous. It's Dame Lillard and Klay Thompson. It's like, bro, how the fuck I'm gonna beat two niggas that can shoot lights out? You know, like it's ridiculous. But other than that, ain't shit going on. Just work, work and editing and all that type of good shit. But with that being said, we can go ahead and get into this, this episode that we got for you folks. So
Yes,
first
sir.
topic, man. Let's go ahead and pull this up though.
Fair. Music business, fair is a place where you judge pigs. Success doesn't know hard work. Success doesn't give a fuck about your contribution, your sacrifice. I'm doing it on my own. Nobody cares. Success doesn't care, man. You got to show up and chase it every day. And when you grab that motherfucker, you think you're going to hold on to it without fighting for like a motherfucker. Success in a bag, it's like that motherfucker put a fox in a bag. That bitch be fighting, you got to hold on to that bitch for dear life. Because the minute you think you got it, it's going to slip out of your hands, bro, and you got to chase. Some people will spend the rest of their career hunting for success again and won't be able to catch it. Success is a motherfucker, bro. It's very finicky. And that's why there are a few people that achieve the type of success that we want, but because we can relate to them, see them as equal to us, we think it's realistic.
All right, that was you want to break that down because you brought this clip up and I think it could be relevant, but like what stood out to you?
What stood out to me was, I mean, it's the topic of what the video and the premise of it was. Let me put a little bit of background. It is talking about, he calls himself Kingpin. He is a music exec. And yeah, that's what he's talking about in this music industry because he is a part of marketing. He's saying success it can be taken away as easy as it is to try to try to gain some type of success. Like it can be taken away in an instant. Like once you have it, you have to take advantage of it. You have to work. Once you have to work 2, 3, 4, 5 times, 10 times as hard to make sure that you keep it. Because there's always gonna be somebody around that and these vultures that are trying to take your talent and try to give you these 360 deals, try to give you these bad contracts, and just try to make as much money from you and drain you dry. And then like you ain't gonna be really able to like help out your family.
So you think he's saying work hard, like work harder than others?
That's what I take.
No, he's saying the exact opposite though. No, he said the exact opposite. He said, I think this might be a direct quote. He said, "Success doesn't care about who works the hardest." To me, what he's saying is like, I don't. So this is the thing though. Like when it comes to wanting to be successful and having a goal is like, which way? How can you reach that? Like I feel like the only way to reach that shit is to work hard, right? But he said that success doesn't care about who works the hardest. So it's like, okay, so can I bullshit then? Like, can I
All right.
still
So
make it?
what's the quote that he's saying? That what is he exactly saying then?
He said success doesn't care about who works the hardest.
So what does it depend on then?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what does that mean? Because if it don't care about who works the hardest, then why I even got to work for it? It's supposed to just come to me then. At that
Did we
point,
finish the clip?
we did.
We
I
did.
play it one. I'm gonna play it one more time.
Fair. Music business, fair is a place where you judge pigs. Success doesn't know hard work. Success doesn't give a fuck about your contribution, your sacrifice. I'm doing it on my own. Nobody cares. Success doesn't care, man. You got to show up and chase it every day. And when you grab that motherfucker, you think you're going to hold on to it without fighting for like a motherfucker? Success in a bag, it's like that motherfucker put a fox in a bag. That bitch be fighting. You got to hold on to that bitch for dear life. Because the minute you think you got it, it's going to slip out of your hands, bro, and you got to chase. Some people will spend the rest of their career hunting for success again and won't be able to catch it. Success is a motherfucker, bro. It's very finicky. And that's why there are a few people that achieve the type of success that we want, but because we can relate to them or because we see them as equal to us, we think it's realistic.
Yeah, I see what he's saying now. I get what he's trying to say. I think that's some wise shit. Like, basically, he's saying like, it don't care how hard you work for this shit, how hard you work. You can put in 10,000 hours, 20,000 hours. This shit could just be gone within a day, just because somebody else, like you were saying that like niggas can just come and try to just take your sauce and then just be like, all right, well, now I'm successful now. So it's like, fuck the hard work. You have to do the hard work, but then you also have to hold on to the success. And I feel like that might be the hard part, like keeping that shit, and so it's not stagnant. You
Yeah, I
know,
mean, he ain't the only artist who said that, saying keeping on to the success is the hardest part. Dr. Dre said the same thing. He said, I know this house look nice, but it's not about how nice it looks. It's about keeping on to that motherfucker. He said that on the Kendrick.
yep.
Like it's real. It, we see so many people go through financial troubles and ended up losing their homes. It's not just musicians, it's athletes. It's financial literacy is one of the biggest problems in our neighborhood. It's that understanding of like how do we keep our money?
Especially it hit different coming from a music executive, because music is something that's subjective. Like, niggas gotta fuck with your music. So it's like, we don't care how many hours you was in the studio. Like, is niggas fucking with it? Are you getting paid from it? If not, then what can you do? Like, I don't know what you can do past like working your hardest when it comes to music. Like, you have to be the most creative person. You gotta market. Like, there's so many other things that come with the shit. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it just hit different when it comes from him. You know what I mean? I don't really know his business acumen. I don't really know anything too much about Kingpin. But I think this is some wise shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just thought it was a good video. It's just wise words, especially to a bunch of the artists that we interviewing, artists who listening, producers. It just goes about, to me, like even I felt that I'm not a musician, just a grind or a hustle, or just um, it's not like even if you grab like a little bit of success, or you think you're doing a little bit of good, like that shit don't really matter. It's like, can you hold on to it? Can you keep it going? Can you keep the momentum going? Can you grow on top of it? Like that's it's very difficult to do that. It's very like because people will forget your shit like in 24 hours.
Right. These days, yeah.
Yeah, so much content, so many things coming out every single day. It's hard to really feel anything like and like live with it.
Hmm.
Like you can't live with nothing these days, in my opinion.
No, that's totally true. I think, but one of the things, like you said, it is wise words, but this is one of the things that I hate about short form content is like, yeah, he said some wise words. Success is don't give a fuck about hard work. You gotta learn, you gotta keep that shit. Like, but he ain't really tell niggas how to keep it. He ain't really tell people, and maybe in a full length clip, you know what I mean? Like he could have told, but things like this can have people misguided because it'd be like, it don't really tell you exactly what to do, or like he didn't give no more context in the clip, so it's like kind of hard to glean from, you know what I mean? So it's like I would be interested to hear like what else he said to like, okay, so how do you keep the vultures from taking your success? Like, do you just have to be more creative with the shit that you do? Do you have to market yourself? And do you have to reinvent yourself every 5 years? Like, you know what I mean? I would be interested to hear like from a music perspective, like what's his tips on like how to how to fight that,
I
you know?
think it's very hard because it's case by case,
Yeah,
and everybody's contracts, everyone deals, everybody music ability is different, so it's hard to just have a blanketed saying this is how it's done.
that's
Like
true.
I know we did laugh about the Kim Kardashian when they asked her like, "What's like, how do you succeed or whatever?" She's like, "Work hard," and like people laughed her off. But it's like, what more can you really tell somebody? Because it's so individualistic, and people blow up in so many different ways. They can give you advice on how to not move and say, yeah, that may not be the best business move in terms of the future, in terms of business and decisions. But they don't know necessarily if your idea or who you are is going to resonate. Like that's really a part of a business. It's just like who you are and like how you represent yourself, and do people like you? Like if they like you, most likely they're going to try to help your business, and just because they think you a good person, in my opinion.
But what about music? I feel like music, you could. There's a formula to music. I will say, like, sort of depends on what type of music you making. But if you are a hit maker, you trying to like be that nigga, then I feel like there is a formula. So there is something that you could tell them like, don't sign the 360. Um, just stop vultures from hitting your pockets and shit like. There's things that you can say to people that's in the same field, whereas like you have the
You
same
don't think
goal.
some artists deserve a 360 though?
No.
Like if artists don't really have any emotion or anything like that, because most artists, the statistic I've seen out there, I don't
Mm.
have it exact numbers, whatever, is that most artists don't succeed. It's really like probably like 5%, less than 5% of artists really make any motion in music. So if I'm making an investment in you, and I know the statistic is weighed against me and what I'm putting my money in, why isn't it smart to give you a 360 deal where I completely recoup everything I got?
Why would you sign them in the first place if you don't got faith, right? I mean, that's how I look at it. Like, I feel like a lot of these
It's not
labels,
about
they
having faith. It's like you can have faith in somebody, but you still got family and you gotta provide. Like you still have a label that can't go in the water just because of one artist. If this person doesn't work out, you still gotta try to get the next artist. So it's you don't want to put all it's not it's like putting all your eggs in one basket. You don't really want to do that in terms of a label. So I see both sides. Like I see from the labels like you don't want to go under just by just giving a bunch of artists money and the shit don't go nowhere.
that makes sense. That do make sense, but yeah. So if we talking about like from the label perspective, that's a great business model for them for sure. But I would say like, what's the point in the label even trying it out if they like it's like them it's like a trial. You know what I mean? Like a 360 is like a trial. Like, are you gonna be what it is? But this is what it is though. Is like you'll get somebody like Bad Baby or like a Lil Yachty, like somebody that's like hot at that time may still be hot in 5 years, but like, why even sign them if it's like you don't have the like it make it feel it make it seem more predatory that they like know like, oh, this could probably hit for us for like 2.5 years, so let's get this
Thi-
360.
This is my only problem with 360. It's when the terms are like very long, or it's like a ridiculous amount of albums that just doesn't even sound realistic to me now from the jump. Like if you say I'm gonna give you 5 albums, like you're in for a hell of a ride with your label if you're signing that right from the get go, and you happen to blow up after like the first album.
Right, right.
Like your money and everything, like you're fucked. Like you signed away way too many. Like you didn't. To me, that's on the artist because you didn't really believe in yourself.
To
Like
just stay independent.
yeah, not even stay independent, but it's like you sold 5 of your albums for a low amount of like a low number. You did that.
Yeah,
Like
like
you
5 million or
chose.
something.
You sold yourself short. Like they gave you a number. You was like you just said okay. Oh, I can whip that out. Blah blah blah. But albums don't be coming out because they're gonna say it's an EP, it's a mixtape, whatever artists say. But it's like you sold your shit. Like yeah, unknowingly. But now it's like there's so much news and you heard so many artists now in life you get fucked over. It's really your fault.
That's your fault at this point, but you
Like when
can't
I hear a Meg Thee Stallion and a basketball player, like when she keeps complaining, like it seems like it comes out every few months, talking about some Crawford dude and her deal is like, you signed that shit. Like, don't complain into the public eye about what you signed back in the days. Like, fulfill what you got to do and move on from that contract. I get you trying to like recoup it and you realize how much money is going to be going to him, but it's like you got to eat that. Like, eat it and then make another album. Like that's how I feel.
But that's what I'm saying. It's predatory because yeah, you can say Megan Thee Stallion knew all the terms and knew exactly what she was getting into, but I'm pretty sure that was
She didn't
before.
know she was gonna be what she is. I mean, maybe she had faith and for sure that's what I want. I believe she did have faith and the confidence that like, yeah, that's what I want. But obviously, when she signed that contract, she thought that number and what he said was good.
Right. She had
Like
just
when
graduated college,
she signed it, she thought the contract was great. Like she no problems.
but she
But
might have
it's
still
like when
been in college at that time. Like that
yeah, I
sound
think
great to a college student.
she was still in college for
Yeah,
sure.
that sounds great to a college student. Like when niggas down, like I was down bad as a college student. Like
Yeah,
yeah, you gonna sign that contract.
I knew a girl like who was a singer in college. She said she signed onto a deal with some random dude that said she gave the dude gave her $60,000 a year. That was the contract uh, to pretty much have own her music and help produce it. Blah blah blah. I was like, oh shit. Like, but those are the kind of deals that, like, to her, like that was amazing. But don't complain. Like it. That's what I'm saying. Like at the time, like it sounds great. Like they happy and shit. They get the check, and then years down, you don't. And then it really your career really do pop off, and you become it. And you like, I see all these brands and everybody coming to me. Now you like, oh shit. I'm looking at my peers. I'm trying to keep up an image.
Hmm.
It's just not it. Like it's just not working. It's like, yeah, you got to fulfill your contract.
I get that, but it sounds like you on the side of the label when you say like legally, yes, they have to fulfill their contract, but like I said, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Like it's predatory, where it's like niggas don't be having shit, and it's like you show them this big number, this big shiny number, might give them an office. You know what I'm saying? Woo, 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 and it's like, oh, I'm definitely gonna sign that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think people just need to get their lawyers together, read the full contract, and then they'll be good from there, or just stay independent. To be honest, but it's like a label can push you differently than you can push yourself independent with no money. So I get why people do it.
I
My
don't.
whole
I
point.
feel like a lot of artists shouldn't really go independent.
You said should not.
Should not.
Why? I feel like every artist should be independent. To be honest, I would like it better that way.
There's just so many independent artists right now that ain't got no motion. That ain't doing nothing.
What does that mean though? If you really love the music, it don't matter if they got motion or not. Like it's good music. Good music is good music.
People are getting into rap to make money quick.
That's the issue.
Like that's why all the music sounds the same. They thinking of it as business. They listen to Lil Uzi, Playboy Cardi, all of them, and say, "Oh, I can do this." They're looking at it as a quick money scheme. My pussy pink, my booty hole brown. Like it's that's what they're looking at it as. It's a business.
Which I think that's the problem though. I think the problem is that it is fast food. It is niggas just like, oh, let me get a bag right quick. And it's like, if it's good music, it's good music regardless. That's why I feel like I wish every artist was independent and could get their own bag. Like just they own keep their own show money, keep their masters, keep all that shit because you're basically a workhorse if you for the if your contract not right and you got a 360 and they own your masters and they own everything you do, they own your name. You're a workhorse, you know what I mean? Like you could act like you flexing, but nigga, you ain't really got it like that. So it's like I wish every artist was independent, and I think even then we could probably get the music when we want it, when the artist actually wants to drop it. I don't know if that would make it better or worse, but it would be more pure than like, oh, the label, like specifically for Lupe Fiasco, like the label was telling him like, make a song like this, make a song like this, make a song like this. Like I don't want that, like that's just not, it's not
I feel
pure
like a
art.
lot of artists they need direction though. Like a lot of artists are lacking help and direction now these days, and it shows in their music. They don't have anybody to help them out. They're just throwing shit on the internet, pinning 20 records on there, like album after album after album, and people are listening to the first couple tracks.
And then that's it. Like
Yeah, like
comes
it,
and
it make
goes.
it makes no sense. It's like these artists need help and they need direction. There's too many of them, and they need guidance. Like at least the stars have guidance.
Are major labels doing that? Are they providing guidance though? Or are they just providing like,
Yeah,
oh,
like
here's a bag?
Lotto and Cardi B, all of them are like they have hella guidance. People are writing them songs for them.
But you don't got to be signed to a label to get. The thing about it is the label provides the money so they can go get that studio time, go get that beat, and go get the songwriter. Like that's it. They're not providing the guidance.
Yeah, they're getting the top songs, the top writers, the top musicians. They're looking at the algorithms. They can push it. They can distribute it everywhere. They can market it correctly. All that's all a part of pushing a record that most people aren't even gonna put in that much work. They're just gonna upload the shit on online and just be like, okay, that's it. We'll see what happens, and post like a video of them smoking and rapping 16,
Right.
hoping that it blows them up.
It worked. That it has worked, and that's the problem. It's worked for people before, but that's not everybody path. Like you were just saying about success. Like everybody path ain't one person's path. Like you got to find your own path. But shit, if I seen something working, I would try that shit too. You know what I mean? So like I understand why people do that. Just upload it to SoundCloud and it's like, all right, it's gonna go, hopefully. But like you say, you gotta put in more work.
And to move this conversation forward though, is there an age limit to artists when they should give up? I know we had seen something that had Gilly had said.
Oh, is the age limit to rap?
Oh shit.
Man, fuck
Okay,
right,
well,
it's
fuck
the
it.
age limit to rap.
I ain't
Nigga.
know.
Fuck wrong with you.
These niggas.
What do you mean you ain't know?
What's the age limit?
Let me just tell you something. If you ain't popping by a certain age, man, let
What's
that
a
shit
certain
go,
age?
man. Come on, man. But motherfuckers be like all the time. What motherfuckers tell me all the time? Yo, Gil, man, your platform crazy. This the perfect time. Drop something now. Shut the fuck up, man. Fuck is you talking about, man? I look like a nigga that's holding on to yesterday, nigga. Or do I look like a nigga that's elevating, nigga, and escalating, nigga, and glowing and growing? What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm gonna be dropping let me drop another debut album at 46. Get the fuck out of here, man. That is not me, nigga. That is for niggas that can only rap. I fuck all that. I got bigger and better shit that I'm gonna climb and try to get to, man. I'm not no nigga that's trying to live no Throwback Thursday, man. If I'm a nigga that think, man, if you ain't got no traction at all,
I feel like Gilly was hating, to be honest. and I think that speaks to what I was just saying, where it's like niggas ain't in this shit for the love of the music. Like if you really just love music, then you gonna keep rapping. You know what I mean? Whether you make it to where you want to make it to or not. Like if you just love the shit.
He did say for like he said that's for people who only rap. So I'm gonna give him that. I mean, I'm on the other end. I kind of agree with Gilly. Like at a certain age, if you ain't got no traction at all, it's professionally, it's time to hang it up. Like you can still make music and stuff like that, and try to get your few fans here. Just like make music because you love it, and locally put it out and stuff like that. Just upload it independently, like you were saying. Like you're not trying to make a professional run at this. You're not trying to be like, in my opinion, like a professional musician who's trying to compete to be the best anymore. Like once you get to that age, like you being the best is out of the question. Like you're not gonna be the best. Like at that age, like it's over. Like you're never gonna be number one in music because it's a young man's game. That's my opinion.
It is because a lot of the fans and the consumers are of that age. Like they're Gen Z. Like they're Gen Z. Like and so a nigga that's 45, 46, like he said, rapping, it's not gonna connect unless he making young nigga music. You know what I mean? But I doubt that's what it would be. But yeah, I just think that it just sounds like a lot of hate. But he, like you said, he did make a good point. Like if that's all you doing is you just trying to rap, you ain't trying to have no other type of motion and no other type of business venture, then yeah, you should probably hang it up at 46. Like I don't know if there's an age limit, but I would say it has to do with like what you've done so far, like your accolades so far, and how your fan base is. Like if you still got a solid 1,000 people that still listen to you at 46, like nigga, keep doing that shit. If you love that shit,
And I know a bunch of niggas always trying to make the comparison to 2 Chainz, how he blew up when he got bigger.
he did.
There's one thing that people and rappers need to understand though. He had tractions as Titty Boy. He had songs with Lil Wayne. Like he had some traction.
He was on Ludacris Chicken and Beer in 2003.
Exactly. So like I be seeing all the time, people be like, "Hey, like that's not true. Like you grind and keep making music. Like people just hate and blah blah blah." Look at 2 Chainz. Look at some of these older artists that made it. I'm just putting it out there. He had traction. If you don't have nothing, even 1,000 people, like I was saying before, like you're local. Like yeah, like dude, just drop it independently around your neighborhood. Blah blah blah. But the idea that you're gonna come in and you just gonna kill the game and come in with something new, it's just highly unlikely. Like maybe a Griselda, like people might even try to make that comparison. Like the Conways, the Benny the Butchers, how they came in with their own grind. They all came in pretty much, I would say, older niggas in terms
They
of
were,
music, hip
for
hop.
sure.
Like they're older niggas now, and they're making a wave. But I personally, I don't like. Yeah, they're respected in terms of hip hop, but they can't. They had like hella albums way before in projects, so it's like they had traction.
Yeah, they've been doing it.
Yeah, so it wasn't that. That's the thing. It's like it's just not gonna work for most people. Like that's the 1% that that it could possibly work for. Like you're in the 99%. Like wrap it up.
And there's no really explanation why it worked for Griselda though. Like we don't necessarily even know why. Like it's good music, but like I said, a lot of niggas can rap and make good music. But why did it work for Griselda? Why was Conway, Westside, and Benny able to like get this in their 30s? I don't know. Maybe it's the sound.
I think it is. I think it's the production behind the music. I think it's the curating. I think Westside Gun and whoever his team is behind the beats and making these projects, they did a great job, and they did a great job of marketing it, getting out there to the fans, touring. They they moved how they were supposed to move. Like individually, they even got better as an artist. like their crafts. And then when they came together, it was some Wu-Tang shit. It was, yeah, it was some Raekwon. Like it was undeniable. Like the music ability. Like they're even still getting better now. Like that's why I almost I want to say like I don't know because I'm like, can Conway still make it to the top? Can Benny the Butcher still get to the top of hip hop?
I don't know about that.
I want to say no. It's just probably never happened because I'm gonna put my foot down. Like it's not me hating on them at all, but it's just not gonna happen. Like that's my belief. I just don't think it happened anymore. I think it's past that time.
Does it need to happen though?
No, it doesn't.
Like I feel like that's the thing. Everybody trying to gun for number one, which is okay, competitive competition, all that type of shit. But there's only one number one. Like you can still be great at some shit, especially with music. You can still be great at it and not be number one because there's so many other things: the marketing, the image, the who you know, the face card, all those types of things. Like, and that's why I say like keep rapping. Like that's if your intention is just nigga, I want to rap and I love rap, just keep rapping, man. Like somebody might listen to it. If niggas really not listening to your shit at all, like hang that shit up, to be honest. But like I said, if you got a 500 to 1,000 that's like locked in with you, buying your merch, like nigga, keep rapping, man. You don't gotta be number one to be great. You know what I mean? Like that just leave a legacy or whatever. But
I
yeah.
mean, the profile for your family, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the thing is like you have to do well enough to provide for your family. And just having 500 to 1,000 here and there, like unless you invest in or saving up like for the long haul, it's just like hip hop is not gonna be your main bread and butter for a lot of artists. They're gonna get another job, be a bartender. Um, like what they say about actors. Majority of actors in Hollywood and California, whatever, majority of them work side jobs, being waiters and shit.
Yep.
That be
Before they get
acting.
on.
Even when they do be on, like they be on these series and shows, and still like after they do 5 or 10 episodes, they back at their job.
For real?
Yeah, because they may be getting like $1,000 an episode or $5,000 an episode or something like that. They do like 10 episodes, you pay your tax and everything. I mean, like that ain't do one show. You ain't making that much. You still got to work. Bills is high in Hollywood and California. Like rent 2-3 grand. That ain't nothing. You
Yeah, I
got to
mean,
consistently work.
see, and that's a whole different conversation right there, though. But I think the thing with that is getting exposure. If you're on a major network TV show, you only getting paid. Well, if you're on a major network, you get more than 1,000 per episode, I would say. But if let's say that you were, then like that's exposure for like, oh, when I go to this audition, y'all see me in Family Guy, y'all see me in whatever the fuck. Like that's a little bit of a different business right there.
Most of them aren't getting the. Also, like most of them aren't getting the. Every time an episode plays, they get a percentage.
The residuals.
Yeah, they're not. Most of the actors aren't getting that. It's only the top ones, the stars in the shows.
I swear everybody get it.
I don't think so. I think these actors are just getting paid a check, and that's it. It's only the big names who are really getting the residuals from these movies and these big series. They're not just giving residuals to everyone.
Once again, that's about your contract. Like that should be in the contract. Like if this gets syndicated, I need my residual check. I don't care if it's 63 cents.
Yeah,
Like give me my
I'm not
shit.
giving some low end actor who don't have a name for themselves any residuals to my movie. Like
Why
I
not?
wouldn't do that. Why not?
That's not selfish. I feel like they made a contribution.
I'm BET. I'm Fox. I'm HBO. And I'm coming out with $1 billion series, when am I giving a percentage to like some that's not starring, like who's just playing a side character? Why am I giving that person residuals? To me, that in business, that just doesn't make sense. Like I just wouldn't give that type of money or leverage to until they make a name for themselves.
You don't need to be a CEO or nothing. That's fucked up. What you mean? Like
That's
so
just how
for
business goes. That I do like. That's literally how it goes.
that's not how it should be though. Like if you made a contribution, you should get paid. See, I'm being optimistic. I'm being optimistic right now because that's how it should be. Like if you make a contribution, you should get paid what for the contribution you made. whether you still popping afterward or not. You know what I mean? But like, let's take Abbott Elementary for example. Like, who's a side character on Abbott Elementary? Like, uh, damn. Let me see. Like the janitor. The janitor kind of a main character. I don't know. Like the kids. What about the kids?
He just got hired on as a main character like the second season, like the
What
janitor.
about the kids? Like the kids shouldn't get paid residuals.
No, they're side characters.
Why not? Like,
None of
I feel
them,
like
like, they're not building any of those kids' stories in Abbott Elementary. It's only about the teachers, as far as I know. Like that's who they're building on the story on, like getting to know each character in their classroom and their learning, their story, their life. It's not based around the kids. So no, I'm not giving them residuals. I'm paying them a check because there's gonna be multiple. There's like 50 kids or 30 kids in that classroom. I'm not giving all of them residuals.
I'm saying just for the ones that talk. I don't even know if like background characters even get much paid much anyway. I'm talking about the ones that's in the episode and like talking. Like if you're in the episode and you have lines and you're talking and you have dialogue, you should
A
get that.
kid that's just saying, "Hi, teacher." That's it.
Mm, I don't know. That's not really but like I was saying, it's based off contribution. If that's all you contributed, then give him 0.0005% of residuals. He did something though. You know how hard it is to get on camera and say hi, teacher, in the right way.
They might end up getting more money just based on getting them a check if you're doing that, because their 0.0000 is going to be it's going to be a lot of zeros, and they be getting cents, dollars per
Yeah,
month.
yeah, pretty much. Like it ain't gonna be nothing sustainable. I feel like most residuals aren't sustainable unless you have like a highly syndicated show, like a
Yeah, you got to have millions of people tuning in.
Martin, Kings of Queens, Fresh Prince. You know what I mean? Like that's the people that's getting residuals. Is crazy, but like all this other shit, like you getting cents to be honest. But I guess to wrap this up, so you say there, so you ain't put an age on it though. Like, what's the age that you feel like, all right, if you ain't got no motion at this point, hang it up.
I don't know if Gilly said an age, but fuck it. I'm a really personally, I think 35.
35.
If you ain't really got no traction at 35, hang it up.
I feel you because it is a young man's game, but I still say like 50. 50 without a family, like without a wife and kids or a husband and kids.
That's highly unlikely.
That somebody still rapping at 50?
You're the very minority if you're 50 with no kids.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like if you're a female, you can't even have kids anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. But like I said, I don't really want to put an age on it. I think just keep doing what you want to do. To like Smokey Robinson just made an album and he like 78. Other than that, let's go ahead and get into this last topic that we got for you folks today, man. Finals are happening. The finals are in motion right now. Game one has already occurred, and yeah, the Heat got smacked up, pretty badly. Bam Adebayo, he was doing his shit. Like every time I looked up, he was hitting him a mid range, or he was at the basket. Jimmy Butler didn't do too well that game. Who else didn't do well on the Heat? What's the dude name? Gabe Vincent was like 0 for 8. Max Strus was like, no, Max Strus was 0 for 8. I think Gabe Vincent was like 0 for 6. Caleb Martin didn't really do what he wanted to, so it's like, I don't know, it's not looking too good for the Heat right now after game one. The real story is Jokic and Jamal Murray. Like they got to stop them. I don't see how there's any point. The thing is, you really can't stop Jokic. Like they don't have the personnel to stop Jokic. But if they could stop Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr., then the Heat might actually have a chance to win. But like Jokic gonna get his buckets. But I don't know if they had the personnel to stop Jamal Murray either. So it's like I don't see this going past 5 games.
Jimmy Butler has to do a lot better. Jimmy Butler was locked up, wasn't hitting buckets, and to win, they lost by what, 12 points.
Yeah, they was down
And
by much more than that though.
so if he scored like what he was supposed to score, they would have won that game. Um, yeah, I feel like the reason why they lost is because Jimmy Butler, he didn't play like the starter he in the All-Star he really is. But I mean that really goes to show this Nuggets team. This Nuggets
Mm-hmm.
team is a very great team. And I think this could be a sweep, to be honest. Like the way I looked at that game and the way I see this series going, this could be a sweep.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Jimmy Butler ain't gonna score 13 points every time, but for Max Juice to be 0 for 9, um, that's and Max Juice not who you like depend on all the time, but it's just like you played 21 minutes and you went 0 for 10. That could have even if he made half of them, they could have been tied with the Nuggets. So it's like, yeah, Jimmy Butler got to do his shit, but it's like who's around him that's hitting their buckets. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. It was yeah. His role players definitely was playing better than he was.
well,
Yeah.
just Bam, and Gabe Vincent.
Yep. So they gotta do a lot better. But yeah, so who you think is gonna win? You think it's gonna be Nuggets too?
There's literally no way that the Heat can win. To be honest,
Yeah.
there's
So
no way.
that's my take. So let's go ahead and move on to love and hate.
All right, let's get into it.
We haven't done this segment in a minute, people. Let me explain it for the people who more recently just signed on to the podcast. Basically, we choose a few songs and we just basically say whether we love it or hate it. If we hate any aspect of the song, it don't matter if it could be the verse, the beat. We have to like it, the song in its entirety for it to be love. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first song, Taylor Swift and Ice Spice, Karma.
Yeah, this one, we talked about it a little bit before. Like it was an unexpected collaboration, and I really didn't know how it was gonna sound. I didn't know if she was gonna be doing if Ice Spice was gonna be doing her drill shit on there, but she really didn't. She spit a pretty decent verse, I would say. Um, it's just it's so out of like we talked about that Pink Panthers record, that Boy Is a Liar Part 2. Like that was already out of character, but this one was just like even way more out of character from what we know Ice Spice to be. And I think it worked though. I think it worked.
Yeah, I know it's gonna work because there's too much money behind Taylor Swift and money that's being put into Ice Spice for the writers to not be on top of their game. So I bet Ice Spice sound differently. I bet she's gonna sound a lot differently moving forward, just like the same way they did with Doja Cat and her projects. Yeah, they're gonna come out with a pop Ice Spice album.
You don't think she wrote her verse,
Do I think she had a part of it? Yes, I do think she had a part of it.
but you don't think she wrote it all the way by herself?
That's obviously no.
How? Why is it obvious?
She did not write that whole verse by herself with Taylor Swift on the track. That's why it's obvious because Taylor Swift's on it.
Oh, so she ain't got it like that then.
No, she doesn't. That should be obvious that she doesn't have that level of Taylor Swift that she can just get on there and bullshit.
Reading through this verse, yeah, like you said, she might have had a part of it.
Can we look that up? Actually, can we look at the writers on this song?
It's a lot of writers, but it's a lot of writers on the original too. We can see like what's the difference between the original and the remix. Let me see. The remix has Taylor Swift, Ice Spice, and let's see who else is on this on the credits. Soundwave, Jack Antonoff, Keanu Beats, Jahan Sweet, Riot USA. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people.
Jahan Sweets,
Yeah.
writer.
Yeah, the original has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 writers. Oh, so the only difference in the remix is Riot USA. So maybe Riot USA helped write that. Hmm. Okay, but not regardless of it. I think I'm gonna say hate because it's not for me. But I do recognize and acknowledge that it's a good record though. Like I'm just not gonna play it again, to be honest. But it was a good record though. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and get into your first one right quick. So All the Way Live by Metro Boomin featuring Future and Lil Uzi. Love or hate?
This is probably one of my more favorite tracks on Metro Boomin's Spider-Man soundtrack that had just released. Um, he had a bunch of artists on there. James Blake, of course, he had 21, Future, Offset a couple times. It was a lot of different artists, but I'm gonna go with hate. Overall, this project and the music, I just felt like a lot of the hooks are just repetitive hooks, and I just don't think those are good all the time. And I feel like listening to this project and these songs, it just seem like just like they say the same thing over and over again, and then they'll come in with like a generic 16 about how they relate to a spider. Um, yeah, it just wasn't it. It wasn't it. So I'm gonna go with hate on this track.
Yeah, I wasn't even planning on ever listening to it because I already knew it wasn't gonna be what I was looking for. Didn't he do a What was the other soundtrack he did? I think he did something else. I can't remember, but yeah.
Let me move on to your next track here. Playboy Cardi, Madonna, The Weeknd, Popular.
This one, what soundtrack is this from? I think it's up for. Let me look that up right quick. But it is on the soundtrack for The Idol Volume. The Idol Volume One. Oh, it's like an HBO original. Okay, but yeah. So yeah, I had to immediately click this when I seen the fucking Weekend and Madonna and Playboy Cardi on the song. It
Yeah,
was
it's a weird combination of artists. That's why when I was saying that, I was just like, "What is this? The same song? Like, what is this?"
yeah. I know that shit was it was surprising to see that lineup, and I listened to it. It was actually a really good song. Once again, it's not my vibe. Like it's like a pop song where it's like all they basically talking about is like, oh, she want to be popular, oh, she's popular, and all that type of shit. Playboy Cardi had a very small part in it, and I wanted to hear more from him. Madonna kind of ate both of them niggas up on this shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Um, but other than that, like I mean, it's a cool beat, cool little pop beat. The Weeknd did his thing on there, I guess. Like I'm gonna say hate though, but once again, I'm acknowledge like it's a good song for maybe it might be a good song for what this is, but I'm not familiar with what the Idol Volume One is supposed to be about. But yeah, shout out to the Weeknd and keep getting them checks, my brother. Other than that, let's go and get into your next one. Let's talk about "Shut the Fuck Up 3" by K Tremine. Love or hate.
Okay, so I've talked about K. the album, like, and that I like the project, and now that I got more through the whole project and listened to it a few times, it's really good project. This is one of my favorite tracks on the album. STFU, Shut the Fuck Up 3. That's what I like 3 times. That's how I think the title is supposed to go. It's giving me, I would say, Missy Elliott vibes, which is why I really like the track. Yeah, I've been having this song a replay because it's just so reminiscent of Missy Elliott to me. So it's love.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to your last track here, Miguel Num 9.
Yeah, Miguel has been dropping. I think he dropped like 3 or 4 songs within the last week, just randomly on his YouTube, just audio and like a very minimal video. This is the most recent one. That's why I put this on here. It's not my favorite one of the three. It's probably my least favorite of the three, but I do like it. I'm just sometimes with Miguel, you gotta like read through the lyrics and try to figure out what the fuck he talking about. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like something about number 9. I don't know what the fuck he talking about, but the shit sound incredible though. I'm just ready for a new Miguel. We ain't had no new Miguel in so damn long. Um, and then especially when I heard him on the ASAP Rocky song "Same Problems," I was like, we need a Miguel album like immediately, as soon as possible. So it looked like he gearing up. But to me, I'm all 3 of these songs that he dropped. I love them all. So check this one out. Check out what's the other one called? Like Sid, SID. I forgot what it's called. But go to his YouTube. He got it up there exclusively and check them joints out. But let's talk about your last one, which is Sanfa. Let's talk about Sanfa Plea. Love or hate.
All right, so Sampha, we all know this artist. Well, actually, I'm not gonna say everyone know him. He had a pretty big run or a good run back on his first project. Um, amazing. It was definitely musically, critically acclaimed,
Mm-hmm.
and it was good to hear a track from him after all these years. This was on a Stormzy project. It was almost like to me, kind of like an interlude song, a little bit.
You know, like Yebba's Interlude or something like that.
Yeah, but Sampha's plea was amazing. Um, the lyrics, the song, the vibe, at least for me, I loved it, and I've been having this song on repeat since I heard it, probably for the last couple of weeks. And I can't wait for a new project. I did see recently, really popped up today. I'm kind of dating the pod that Drake said him and Sanfu's got some coming soon.
Okay.
Um, I know Sanford, he was on Kendrick Lamar's album, latest album. He popped up on there.
He was
Um,
on a Drake album too. I think he was on the what album was that? Was that If You're Reading This Too Late?
possibly. But yeah, like we haven't had an album from him since 2017. That was Process. And if you ain't heard that project, you need to go check out Process. This album is probably one of my favorites, like of all time up there. It's up there for sure. So definitely waiting on this new Sampha. And make sure you go check out the track Sampha's Plea on Stormzy's album. He's I would say, UK based artist, I guess.
Yeah, he from the UK.
Um, so yeah, it's dope.
I'm gonna have to go back to that process because I couldn't never get into Sanford, but I'm gonna have to check that out again. Maybe age will like make me like it more. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to check that Sanford out. So check all that stuff out. Do we have any highlights for the week? I will highlight. Damn, what should I highlight this week? Man, you know what? Let me highlight because I just love samples. Like I love that's one of the reasons why I love hip hop because it introduced me to so many different samples in life, old 70s, 80s music. So let me highlight Patrice Rushen. She got a few different songs though, but like really the album called Straight from the Heart by Patrice Rushen. She got some joints on there for sure. Definitely some joints that you've heard in samples before. So check that joint out. What you got for us?
I'm gonna go ahead and just highlight just like what we got going on. I know we've been shouting out saying merchandise is on the way. Just want to let everyone know we are working on the merchandise. Um, well, it's here. We're just setting up the store, so we are gonna get some photos out to you guys, some pictures of the merch so you get to check it out. We're gonna send it to a few people, and we're gonna do a few raffles and want to get you guys involved more. So make sure you're hitting us up if you want a shirt. You might get a free one. Just hit our DM, your shirt size, blah blah blah, and you might be one of the lucky winners to get a free shirt.
Most definitely. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that merch. Check out everything that we talked about in Love and Hate and highlights. Let us know. Give us some feedback. Is we tripping?
Yes,
Should we
sir.
have loved it? Should we have hated it? But other than that, this has been the Friends Podcast. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. And other than that, we out. Peace out.
Peace.